So I went into treatment because she was threatening to leave. And I went into treatment for all the wrong reasons. I didn't go into treatment for myself. I went in to try to save my marriage. So I went into a 27-day treatment at a treatment facility here in Madison. When I was on leaves and stuff, I would still get high and then go back into the clinic when I had those weekend passes. And actually, when I graduated from the program on that 27th day, I celebrated by going out and getting high again. That's the absurdity of what I had done and how far I was gone. And my biggest problem then was that I just didn't want to admit that I was wrong. I knew what I was doing wasn't right. I could see the accumulated problems that I was having in my life and that I was causing. The following year, things escalated. They become cumulative. It's not just the little things now. It's gone from financial, alcohol and drug issues. I had gotten an OWI. Things that started to build up and mount up in my life. And then ultimately, my drug use started to affect my job. So I went back into treatment again to try and keep my job. When I got out this time, I didn't get out and celebrate by getting high, but it wasn't long after that I did. I just wasn't serious. I went in again for the wrong reasons. I did not go in for myself. Ultimately, out stealing again to supply my drug habit. I get arrested. I had a 10-year stayed and imposed sentence. And I was doing 7 years probation. I went through this 7-year cycle. Like every 7 years, I would go into prison or I would be on probation. So I had a state and imposed sentence. I got a new charge. I had an automatic 10-year sentence that there was nothing that could be done about it. Plus, I had a brand new sentence. Now I'm sitting in jail, and I know this. And this was on my 40th birthday. I had to call my wife and tell her one of the hardest things I ever had to do in my life, and that was that she could have a divorce because I had this new 10-year sentence, this old existing 10-year sentence. Plus, I had a new charge, and with my sentence structure, the next charge after the 10 was a 15-year sentence. So now we're talking about 25 years, and I'm 40 years old. In essence, I saw my life just wasted away in prison, and there was nothing that I could say about it because I had brought all of this on myself. Also, at this time when I was making that phone call to her and telling her that she could have the divorce, I also came to the revelation of all the hurt, the pain, and the damage that I had caused those around me and that I had caused myself. It was as if my life had become a topographical map, and I could see every lie, every mistake, every deception, all those traps that I fell into that I thought that I was so much smarter than. I started to see where Satan had laid traps in my life. I also started to realize that when I was going to church, even when I was playing church, that my life was far better than when I fell away from church. Now here I am sitting in jail, getting ready to go to prison, and who comes to see me? No one but my pastor. Pastors from the church, people from the church who showed me that they loved and cared about me. All those people out on the streets that call themselves my friends, they never came. They never had a single thing to say or to do for me. So again, realization is coming, just slapping me in the face. It's like, it's time for you to wake up, because if you don't, you're going to be lost. It was at that time that I got down on my knees and I said, Lord, no matter what it takes, no matter what, if I spend the rest of my life in prison, I am going to serve you. That then required something of me. It required of me to do those things that I know are right, or if I don't know how to do them, it was time to ask someone. So I started talking with my pastor. My pastor told me that he wanted me to call him once a week and talk to him about what was going on. And I started doing that. What I found was that father that I didn't have, my pastor started to become that male role model that I never had. He started to show me what it was to be a man, how to be responsible, how to be accountable. Even though I was in prison, pastors would come from the church and visit me in prison, along bring my wife and family up, and they would teach me so many things that I just did not know, and I did out of ignorance. And because of my pride, I wouldn't simply ask anyone, well, how do you do this? Because I didn't want anyone else to know that I didn't know. I started going to Bible studies. I started reading my Bible again. You know, my wife and I, we started patching and rebuilding a relationship. I started patching and rebuilding relationships with my children. Under the old law, I was supposed to have done 6 years on a 10-year sentence, which would have meant I got a sentence in 87. So by 93, I should have been getting out of prison in 93 from that first sentence. Then I would have had to do 4 years of probation, which would have taken us to 97, which when the full 10 years would have been up. I got a 15-year sentence. I should have been on supervision or on paper until the year actually until this year, 2013, sentence-wise. By 1995, I was completely off of paper, supervision, all of it. Why? Because of my relationship with God. At that point in time, I became willing to be teachable because I realized that I didn't know simply what I didn't know. So I went into treatment. I did extremely well. When I completed the treatment process, the counselors asked me to run an aftercare group. 23 years later, I'm still a counselor. I'm still helping people. But the one thing that hasn't changed is that I am still serving God, because that was when the change came about. It was surprising coming from a sitting Dane County judge who said, I believe if there's ever going to be a fundamental change in any man or a woman, it's going to be because of their faith in Jesus Christ. This was a city that's unheard of. You don't hear this happening. You know, that's a secular setting. But this judge said that I am free. I give back instead of taking. Thank you, Jesus.